Okay, so the anatomy of a content plan. This is super critical because we have to make sure that everything we're writing about and really kind of the different types of content we're basically writing about, they all make sense organically. That we're not just doing a whole bunch of commercial intent pages like these Shopwell articles, which we're going to get into in a second, which are going to be like running shoes for women, for men, for kids, for old people, for all these different angles. It doesn't make sense to only do that type of content. Why? Because that is not natural. It looks like you're trying to game the system. Google does not want us to game the system. So we're going to do it in a very natural way. And we're going to produce different types of pages, and they're going to go on different parts of your website. So some may be landing pages or collection pages if you're on Shopify. Some may be blogs or knowledge centers, which also is a type of blog, basically. So they're going to go one locationally in different parts of your site, but two, they're also going to be written differently. They're going to target different levels of intent. And so this is just actually just a slide from one of our recent pitch decks, but I wanted to illustrate the point here and how critical it is to really write for this entire funnel to make sure that we're covering all these different types of content and not just hammering one or two or even just three of them. We have to really look at all of it. So by that, I mean knowledge centers are just, of course, broad information. Well, I'm going to go into all these details in the next couple episodes here, and it's really going to kind of break out what each of these look like, what they feel like, what they sound like. But just so you understand, knowledge centers are very broad, very top of funnel. That would be like, what is a high arch? What is a trail running shoe? A blog would be trail running shoes versus track running shoes. What are the differences? Tell me, really list them out for me because I'm a consumer and I am curious. That's like middle of funnel. Someone's trying to buy, but they're still researching which one that works best for them. Are they a road runner? Are they a trail runner? Or maybe they have high arches, so maybe they need a trail running shoe, which they're going to learn from that article. Finally, shoppable articles, super, super critical. These are going to be like these are like your landing pages, like your core services. So like for us, for Quitco, I mean, this would be like SEO for e-commerce stores, SEO for Shopify or Shopify SEO. That's really kind of what would ultimately be ours. But for a running shoe company or an e-commerce store, it would be like running shoes for women, running shoes for men, high arch running shoes, trail running shoes for women. Just like we saw with Adidas, how they had all those crazy number of pages and levels of different pages for running shoes for women. So just like that, those are all shoppable articles, highly commercial in intent. And the way they're structured is a little bit different than what the other ones are, but we're going to get into that. And then finally, page refreshes are like your core product pages or your core landing pages or major service pages, and just basically refreshing that by using the data that we covered, that we talked about, how you can kind of basically like reverse engineer what it needs to be. So for example, let's say we already had a page on SEO Shopify or Shopify SEO, like on our website on qck.co.com. Somebody go to Google Shopify SEO. Basically, it would be like if we had that service page already, we want it to rank, but it's not ranking, what do we do? Well, you go in here and you actually add this content onto your page at the very bottom in an FAQ section, in anywhere, but just put this on the page and make sure that these are all H2 questions. So Google's crawling them. Because again, we're trying to basically predict what people are looking for. Then you can also see here that they need a checklist. They like to look at Reddit. They like to figure out if it's a checker, this is a brand, a course even, which is why we're doing a course right now. I think you start to understand how this works. So that's exactly what I mean whenever I say, page refresh. It's basically taking your existing pages and making sure they rank. They're very bottom of funnel because they're already working for you. They're already converting, I would imagine. If they're not, then we will make them convert. But it's important to do all of these things. And whenever you do all of them down the funnel and you do them in a proper way, we're also going to be able to track and measure which ones Google takes the changes the best for. And I think I kind of butchered that, but I basically mean, for example, if a blog versus Shopwell article on Shopify specifically, those are going to go in two different URL structures. So one's going to be in /blogs, and the Shopwell articles are probably going to be a collection. So /collections, / running shoes for women, whatever. But we're going to be able to literally see which page gets indexed faster and gets ranked quicker, and what keywords they get and where those keywords land. And what's going to allow us to do is if we're creating all these different types of content in month one, so let's say we're going to do 15 pages of content and it's like 5 pages here, 5 pages here, 3 of these, and then 2 page refreshes, we'll be able to literally track it and see which one had the biggest effect, which one had the biggest magnitude on your website traffic. And once we see that, that's how we shortcut this system. That's how we understand exactly what to do for month 2. Because now let's say we know with data that the blogs perform better from a ranking perspective than shoppable articles do. Well, then done. That's like the holy grail. Now we just scale out the blogs. It's easy. So we increase the ratios of the blogs we're going to be doing in month 2. So for example, in month 2, we will do like 8 blogs, maybe 3 knowledge centers, and maybe we saw that page refreshes did nothing, but the shoppable articles were great. So then we'll do whatever that 4, I think, or 3 or 4 of the shoppable articles of the 15. So it's going to allow us to understand the roadmap and see where the tide is with Google. Because it's almost like we're kind of surfing, right? And we got to see where the waves are coming from, because Google is like, it's like the ocean. They're just going to be flowing, and we have to make sure we ride that wave, or else we're just going to get smashed by it. So by making a content plan that is very clear in the search intent across the entire funnel, so from very broad down to very specific commercial intent, and then we both ultimately apply the techniques to look at that data, which I'm going to cover in later lessons, to see what's working. That's the holy grail of SEO. Now you're moving twice, if not 3 times as fast as anybody else that's looking at this. You're testing quicker, you're iterating in cycles. You're able to just produce more content, and it's more valuable. You're going to get that ROI. This is exactly the strategy that we do at our agency, and it's what works very, very, very well. So cool. I'm going to go into each of these details now in the next following lessons. So see you there.